let's begin. As I mentioned, my name is Alicia Frausto, Director of Bee Experience. Happy to have you all here, and I'm going to let our team each introduce themselves, so I'll pass it over to Michael.
I am Michael Lombardo. I am the founder and CBO of BrightBee.
And I am Chris Ballig. I'm the Chief Operations Officer here.
Hi, I'm Lisa Sims. I am the Senior Operations Manager in Bee Support.
And good afternoon and good evening. I'm Stevie Phillips, and I'm with the Bee Recruiting team, one of the recruitment operations managers here at BrightBee.
Awesome. And we have a jam-packed 45 minutes. It's going to go by really quick. You're going to hear from each of the teammates to share a little bit about what's going on in BrightBee world right now. We do town halls on a quarterly basis. So if this is your first time here, you'll hear a little bit about a recap of 2025 and see how BrightBee has grown. Lisa's going to share a little behind the scenes, what happens when you make a claim and what happens to make that match and get you to assignment. Stevie is here with us as our special guest to share some tips about shining bright on your profile and making a great first impression when you're at a new assignment. Then I'll give you a sneak preview of some opportunities on the horizon, and we'll close with some question and answers. So because it's quick, if you have questions throughout, feel free to type them in the chat. It'll kind of queue us up for that Q&A, and we will get started. So, lost my screen. There we go. So as people are trickling in, take one moment just to introduce yourself to the room. Where are you joining from? City and state, where your Hive is, and if you know how many assignments you've had, feel free to drop that in the chat. So a quick hi, Alicia here from San Jose, California, 25 assignments. Awesome. Thank you. Marley, Modesto, California. John from Detroit, 50 plus. Not any assignments recently, but we're glad to have you here, Shanetta. Nazim, Detroit, 29 already. Wow, I remember when it was just one or two. I love seeing everybody. Wow, Demarius, 177. Fantastic. Awesome. Keep that. Yeah, busy bee making that money. I saw that goal. So let's get started with some celebrations. I'm going to mute myself and pass the mic over to Michael and hear how the state of the Hive is and why we are here.
Yeah, thank you, Alicia, and thank you all for taking time to be with us and for everything that you do for BrightBee. None of this would be possible without having a committed community of amazing bees. As Alicia referenced, like we're really grounded in the why of it, which is both about how we support schools and students, but also how we support you. And as we'll talk about today, a lot of how we think about our success and what we're trying to accomplish here is really based on your experience and wanting you to feel like you are prospering and growing while you're with us. There we go. Next slide. Yeah. So we already made some noise about this, but we hit the 25,000 assignment mark just before the holidays. Really, really exciting, especially considering that, we started just about a year and change ago, or sorry, 2 years and change ago. And in those first weeks, we were doing like 10 assignments. And so now to see, 200 a day is wild and amazing and exciting. And basically, we've seen kind of the number of assignments available nationwide. And I know this doesn't look this way to all of you based on which hives you're in, but like the whole picture of the nationwide BrightBee network about doubles every 6 months in terms of how much of activity we see. And also, as of December, we've paid over $3 million to bees, and doing all of that while having a super high satisfaction rate from the school and nonprofit partners that we work with and where you are representing us. And as some of you know, we started in San Jose, so we have some San Jose bees here. I love it. But We have now expanded not just all throughout California, as far up as we have a Vacaville bee here. We as far up as Vacaville and as far down as LA in California. We've got a significant presence now in the Midwest, in Michigan, Ohio, and Illinois. Especially in Ohio, we're growing a lot. South Carolina is new for us this year. Pennsylvania is new for us this year. We started in New York last year, but really, really exciting to see not just kind of the number of bees we have working and the number of assignments we have growing, but also seeing it happening in more schools and more places. And then our core BrightBee team, which is me and Alicia and Lisa and everybody that you interact with here, that team has also been growing. And this time last year, there were about 10 of us, and now there are about 30. So much bigger team, hopefully giving you all the support you need, processing lots and lots of newbies, and just continuing to build out what it is we're doing here at BrightBee. And then I wanted to call out too some of the things in the future. We're still very new. Like I said, our company is just over 2 years old. And so we're still figuring things out and learning new ways we can support you and support schools. And so two things you'll start to see in 2026. Some of you know that there's already kind of a structure where if you are taking regular assignments at the school, sometimes the school decides they want to hire you and they can kind of offer you a job and you can transition over to becoming their employee. That's been a part of our model from the start. But what we're starting to do now is actually a little more like a retained search business where schools come to us not because they need people kind of here and there to cover absences, but because they just have vacancies that they need us to permanently fill. And so what we're starting to do now is hire people both to like come be in the hive of like flexible workers who can kind of work when they want to work, but then also we're hiring people who just go straight into working for the school district, and are locking in mostly to full-time employment. And so it's a really nice way for us to kind of support schools in a different way, and help them be fully staffed, while also acknowledging that there are differences between people who want to work here and there versus want to work consistently every week. And so we're trying to offer that diversity of experiences. And then similarly, we are also rethinking the way long-term assignments work when they get really, really long. So I think in the early days, it would never have occurred to us that there would be an assignment that would last like a year. But now they exist. And so we've kind of evolved that as well, and to create a situation where you as a bee can get locked into a position that you will work for a whole for the threshold is 50 days of work. So that could be a semester, that could be a full school year, and to sort of know you have it. And we have a different cancellation policy for those. It's a little more certainty for you. And it's more certainty for us at BrightBee too, since we're dealing with the same thing you are every day, which is we go in the app and we see what's there. And so we love the swarm assignments because they kind of give us a little bit of predictability. And and from a B standpoint, swarm assignments look like regular assignments. They're just really, really long. Like we haven't put anything in the app that like makes them look different. But if you see an assignment that goes until like May, it's like that's a swarm assignment. And so again, you're in the driver's seat. You get to decide what kind of assignments make sense for you. Maybe you don't want to make that kind of long-term commitment. That's totally cool. But for bees who do, we want to offer that option and give schools kind of the consistency they want from somebody over the long haul. Cool. And I think that's my last
Awesome.
slide.
Yeah. And just as we grow, it's been fun because, as Michael mentioned, it was like a handful of us with a couple bees in San Jose. And each couple months, it's like we grow significantly where we face funny new challenges. Like what happens when you have two bees that have the exact same name? It was like we refer to you as your name, and then it's like, oh, wait, now we have Michelle Williams Bee in California and Michelle Williams Bee in Michigan. And so we've just had some funny things that we are faced when we get growing bigger and bigger. But we know you all, and so that's why Stevie is going to share about sharing some of your profile photos so we really can get to know you behind the scenes as well. And next up is going to be Lisa, who's going to share about our operations team and what happens when you click things in the app. Who is the one answering those text messages and those claim requests? Lisa, are you here? Mhm. I see a I'll give her 10 seconds. If she's not here and dropped off, I might start without her, and then if we need to jump order, we can do that. So first off, thank you to the 100+ bees who participate in our winter bee survey. One of the questions we ask you is, how likely are you to recommend BrightBee? And a 9 or a 10 is considered highly recommend, and 73% of you recommended that highly recommend BrightBee. And so we love hearing that enthusiasm. That kind of helps us, our North Star, to know that we're doing things right. And if you have friends that you know you would like to refer, we do have a referral bonus that both you and your friend earn honey for that referral when they have completed, I think, their 5th assignment. And you can take a moment to read some of the shout outs. As Lisa, I see you're getting back on. I'll let you take the next slide. In that bee survey, we asked for some quotes and shout outs, what resonated with you, and just loved seeing these different responses. One of the bees said, "I'm really very happy as a bee. I've become a more mature, complete, happy person. Working with kids, as you all know, is really fun and at the same time challenging and dynamic. And this bee enjoys the autonomy of their work." Another found a newfound possible career, enjoys giving back to their community, and it's very fun. We hear this all the time when bees are in the same district that they maybe went to school or their children go to school. And then the quote at the bottom is from one of our school sites. The administrator said, "Our bees have been a real highlight for the challenging cold and flu season. Folks come in with a helpful spirit, and the returning faces all have great relationships with the kids. Bonus for that multi-day or coming back and building rapport, and just again functioning at a high level." It's sad that schools have put up with low quality or just a band-aid approach, but BrightBee has come in and always said, we don't want to settle for minimum. We want it to be a value add, and that is why we have such a high screening process, multiple interviews to get you into those schools. Lisa, are you good to take it from here?
I am. Thank you. Sorry
You're
about that.
welcome.
The timing was not great there, but I'm back. Okay, so on that same survey, not just the positives that Alicia mentioned, but there was some feedback and challenges that we heard from bees. The most, I don't want to say the most common, but the ones that did come up were concerns about the BrightBee staff being anonymous, that the emails and replies come from multiple people, that the text messages are never from an individual that they know, and in general, it just feels like BrightBee is run by AI. If you'll see here, we get as a group in support between 500 and 600 messages a day, text messages, emails, phone calls. And we are a small team. We'll put some faces to the next page, but I can assure you, seeing the faces here is everyone that you're talking to when you do send in a message or a phone call or email. We have someone online as early as 6:30 a.m. Eastern time and as late as 9 p.m. Eastern time. Actually, I think it might be a little bit later because we're on until 7 o'clock West Coast. So we are here. It's either myself, Brennan, Haley, or Bethany that you're talking to. I think we all have different mannerisms as we reply, or we might talk or text. I think we all have different ways that we text, but these are all the faces that you are talking to when you message us. So not AI, we are humans. We are here. And as a team, we also put together some of the top questions and like things that have come up from bees recently. So we just want to go over some of these and some reminders. When you claim an assignment, that means that you're interested and available. A claim does not automatically mean that the assignment is yours. Multiple bees can claim an assignment at a time, and our team manually reviews and approves or matches you to an assignment. So that's all done human review on our end. We've gotten a question recently about, who gets approved, and we like to do it first come is our ideal. And so the first person that claim it is who we give preference to. But when I tell you that assignments can literally be claimed to the minute at the same time, a lot of our bees, especially in California, there's so many and they're looking for work. We could tell you guys to look in the evening before you get to bed, and look first thing in the morning and claim assignments for that come up for those single days. And it all the bees that claim, and some of them are just seconds apart from each other. We look at other things then at that time and seeing if there are special qualifications that are needed for those assignments. If there's bees that were requested by the site specifically. But yeah, our team is humans back here answering your texts and reviewing the claims and getting those approved. The future for us is that we will have automated approval, so that'll speed up the waiting time from when you claim an assignment to know if you get approved. I think the biggest gap is probably over the weekend when you claim something, and then waiting until we get approved the next day or Monday morning. So when those are automated, you will know right away if you were approved for an assignment or not. Something else that we just wanted to remind everyone on is how you get paid. And we need to make sure that in order to do that, you're checking in and out on the app and you're getting your assignment verified. That is what we go off of to pay you. So if there's ever a time where maybe the app's not working on site, or you were able to check in okay, but maybe check out's not working, or no one is on site to verify you for the day and scan the QR code, we ask that you just text us to let us know, and we will use that as the timestamp for your check-in and check-out as the time that you text us. But all very important, the check-in, check-out, and getting your assignments verified to get paid. Alicia put together a great support help center. She sends this out in the monthly buzz. I think she just popped it in here too. This link will really help you. So if there's more questions that I didn't answer here, and I know we'll have some time at the end too, but you can always go to this help center, and Alicia's wealth of knowledge and putting this together for you guys is in there for review.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
You're
And as I mentioned earlier this morning in our previous town hall, that Hive Help Center is a growing website based on questions that we receive. And so if you search something and you see that there is no article that pops up or there is no answer, and you think it's something that is not just Hive specific or just for your particular assignment and something that other bees would benefit from, just reach out to the team and we'll work on getting some of those frequently answered questions up online. And I'm going to pass it over to Stevie, who is going to share some tips about shining bright, both on your profile and on assignment. And from the conversation we've had, these are tips that will take you through your entire career and just the interactions you have. So don't think that these are only just BrightBee related, but fantastic practice. So I'm going to mute again. Stevie, it's all you. Just tell me next when you want new slides.
You bet. Thank you so much, Alicia. And thank you again, everyone, for joining. Again, my name is Stevie Phillips, and I am one of the recruitment operations managers here at BrightBee. Have been here for almost a year, and really here to chat with you about shining bright, as Alicia said, both in person or on assignment and digitally within that Bee profile. What that will really do is position you as a terrific candidate for any assignment that you're qualified for, that you claim, and then are matched to work for. Just real quick fun fact, I used to work as a contractor in a school when I was pursuing my master's in school counseling. It just so happened that school district, they were hiring school counselors the next school year. And because of the relationships and the connections I formed while as a contractor, it just opened that door and earned me that position. So you never really know what opportunities are kind of brewing at our school partners behind closed doors. And so it happens more than you think. And the impressions that you make, again, both on site and digitally, can really open or sometimes close doors. So we're going to make sure and talk through how to keep those open. If you can pop to the next slide there. Thank you. So again, why does your Bee profile matter so much? This is really important because the admins that are requesting these assignments are going to be able to view and peruse your profile the minute that you're matched to an assignment. So the ability to set the right impression is readily at your fingertips within that Bee profile. So we're going to talk through some ways that you can kind of beef it up. Yes, I did that. Beef it up with your profile without doing too much. And there really is a balance. And so we'll kind of talk through the iceberg method there. So if you want to pop to that next slide, Alicia, thanks so much. And I just kind of wanted to pulse check the audience here. This is what our schools kind of typically see sometimes. And so we'd be curious if anyone just wants to drop into chat. What do you see here that is missing? And I'll kind of jump in here as a photo. Yep, love that, John. So definitely a photo. We see here that profile picture as well, name, and then we also don't see here an uploaded resume. And so we really want the B profile to really be the place that you shine. And so if we want to pop to the next slide, Alicia, we can look at a profile that really is beefed up. And so as you can see here from our California Raimundo, we see he's got a profile picture. His primary Hive is listed there. He's got an uploaded resume. And then his About Me section is filled out, but not too filled out, right? So it's got about 3 to 5 sentences. So a good paragraph or two to really kind of capture what he is excited about, what he's looking for, and even kind of what he is looking to get into. Again, these are really meant to be brief snapshots so that our admins can see who's coming into their schools to support their students. So given that this is a more visible example, working in a school is a very visible role. A lot of folks do see you, and so why not have your B profile match? Admins will likely feel more comfortable with you supporting students if they can just get a little bit more of a slice who you are professionally. Okay. And then we can pop over to the next slide too and talk about profile photo do's and don'ts. A lot of these might sound pretty similar to you or pretty like, yep, of course, you might say that. So again, this all comes down to visibility and providing professional confidence to our administrators. A couple of pro tips here. There are AI generators out there that can help you kind of professionalize your photo. They can get a little bit pricey, so would recommend doing your own research on that, but still a great tool. If you're in, I will admit that photo that was put up there earlier of me, I put through an AI generator because I don't have a lot of dress clothes or have great backgrounds. So it's a great way to do that. So things to kind of do there. Definitely want to keep a smiling, pleasant face, kind of shoulders down, neutral background. And then things to steer away from are things like bathroom selfies, anything that's going to come out of like a Snapchat or an Instagram filter, things like that. Just again, you can kind of think of it where you might want to see the person who's helping your own child or your own student. We can pop to the next one. And your About Me, your bio tip. This is I'll be totally selfish here. This is probably one of my favorite sections of the B profile and a compliment to your resume. And we'll talk about some resume tips here in just a little bit, but just some things to keep in mind here. You want to keep those at a minimum of about 3 to 5 sentences. Again, not too long, not too short. And then highlighting those strengths, prior experiences, and related skills. Interests here, again, you can relate those to the school space, so if you have interest in STEM, art, or other specials, you can certainly put that in there as well. Custodial experience, again, I think that what makes our bees that much more dynamic and kind of multi-purpose is when you can put all the different pieces in there that are going to support a school and any goals you're working toward, right? I've spoken to several people, probably some that are on this call and interviews, and you all are on such great journeys, great career journeys. So certainly talk about that, right? I want to pursue being a teacher. I hear people say they want to be in administration, special education professional, things like that. Admins would love to see that. Some things and some don'ts and some areas to stay away from. Overly generic phrases. Unfortunately, we do see this quite a bit, right? I like kids. And I would say that's probably the most thing that we see a lot. I also see if you talk about prior experience, even highlighting, like I worked with family members or things like that. I think that has a place for it, but again, whatever experience that you have, you want to relate that to the actual school space. And then always give those a once over, right? Want to make sure that you avoid typos or any kind of shorthand. And then again, not writing too much because admins do have to filter through that. And we will talk about how to mirror that on your resume as well. So if you want to pop to the next one.
Yeah, and I just want to address that these are just some samples for you all. If you watch back on this recording and this slide deck, which I'll be sending out tomorrow morning, you can see some great profile examples of that 3 to 5 sentences. So we know it's small, it's just there for reference, and we'll pass it over to Stevie to continue about resume tips.
Awesome. And I love giving resume tips. I used to do resume workshops in my previous organization, and I'm really excited to talk about this because the BrightBee profile does give you that ability to upload a resume, right? And so we want to talk about, your resume is really your golden ticket, right? On whatever career journey you're on, it should reflect those relevant experiences, education, and certifications. Even if you have a class that you're in or a certification that you just started, if it's in progress, throw that projected completion date on there and still include that, right? I think our admins and our school partners want to see that even though you might be taking these one-off assignments here and there, there's still there's still a long game, and there's still a career goal in mind. Build certain sections into the resume that you can leave standard, right? We do talk about tailoring your resume sometimes, so you might hear that kind of come into the fold. But oftentimes you can build sections that are standard, right? Your education or even your experiences may not change all that much, but some examples that I have seen work is where you could put like a recap section at the end, or even an about me section at the beginning, where you can kind of tailor that to whatever industry that you are searching for. I think that when you're talking about at BrightBee, a lot of that is going to be education tailored. So even just kind of a general education tailoring can be helpful. I'm going to plug AI again here. Any of you that have access to Gemini or ChatGPT, it's a great option just to upload your resume and even just to ask it, what does it recommend? Often some good starting places there. Um, and then just as you're thinking about what next steps are in your career, use this opportunity while with BrightBee to try out these strategies, right? Try out different resumes, upload different ones, maybe try different bios or things like that. Your B profile, which will include that updated version of your resume, really can be the first step in making those great first impressions to be personable, be professional, and be engaged, which will take us to the last slide there. And again, these are the areas that not only we want to promote to you all, but these are also the areas that we ask admins for feedback after you have an assignment, right? So we ask admins, how personable, how professional, or how engaged you were on assignment. So if those can be your kind of your three North Stars as you're building out your profile, it's a great place to start.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And we do have one more slide that you can read on your own of just how do you take it from your profile to actually your first time on assignment at a new school and really live out those three traits. And so you all are doing it well. I see 177 assignments, 50 plus assignments. So we are preaching to the choir right now. But for those of you that are maybe new and excited to try your first one and wanting to know what to do right, follow these tips from tried and true from RBs that have come before. And I'm just going to close with a very quick on the horizon before we get into Q&A. Some app updates. We have shared this before, but it's finally here. It's coming closer and closer to reality of the availability survey being in the app rather than on the Sunday emails and the Google form. But the team that you don't see behind the scenes is our product team who is designing the app for us as we speak. And we put these big requests and they go, oh, that'll take a couple weeks. So that's going to take a lot more than you think. And so we have to break down these requirements. So when Lisa said we're going to have automated matching and then you won't have to wait for that pending, these are some of the pieces that are necessary in order for those things to happen. So it'll look very similar to what the Google form currently looks like. You select your availability. That will help recommend different assignments or help the support team when they get new last minute assignments within an hour's notice. They're going to look at this list, whoever filled out the availability survey, saying, I want to work, I don't yet have an assignment, and you'll be at the top of the list for them to reach out to you by text, new assignments in your area. And another request we have received is I can see all my assignments that are coming soon, but what about the ones I've already completed? And so in that available assignments, claimed assignments, assignment requests area, you will see a space that says past assignments. And depending on how frequently you take assignments, one thing to note is that date range, that date filter, just toggle that to a larger start and end date, and that will populate the different assignments for whatever time range you want to see. And the one that I'm most excited to share about with you today, and I'll follow up an email with all the details, is In the Bee survey, we asked about what topics for financial topics you would be most interested in. And we have partnered with a nonprofit called Advisors Give Back. They are volunteer certified financial planners, professionals, and they are going to be offering us some access to some free financial webinars. And the one that I think as many people should go to as possible is the Contractor Tax Playbook on Tuesday, February 10th. If you register for the webinar, then you automatically get the recording. So it doesn't mean that you have to stop doing an assignment for after school so that you can watch this webinar. Just register, get the recording. A lot of times, many people have said, this is my first time as a contractor. I've always been an employee. What does that mean when it comes to tax season? Similarly, the other topics that people expressed interest, investing, learning how to keep more of your paycheck, rethinking money. Demarius, this might be all of the ones that you want for your New Year's resolutions, making more money in 2026. So check out feel free to like hold up your phone and scan that QR code, or I will send out the link for advisorsgiveback.org/webinars because they start as soon as this Thursday and go through early February. And that's going to lead us to our Q&A portion. We'll have about 5 minutes for questions and answers. You can do it of two ways. You can type a question in the chat, or you can raise your virtual hand or real hand and unmute and go that way. So who wants to kick us off? Let's see. RT has a question about more assignments. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think you are San Jose or Bay Area. So I'm going to maybe have Lisa follow up with you by text and kind of share what some of those assignments might be great for your area or what we're seeing the most availability in. Awesome. And Primrose, when do you interview for W-2 employees? So for those of you that don't know, in California, we are doing a pilot program called Employ Bees. And we have a select number of people that are interviewing to try out being an employee instead of a contractor. And there's some different pros and cons of what that works like for your life. Lisa or Chris want to chime in and share what that window looks like?
Yep, I can do. For the W-2 employees, we just had a window open. I'm going to have to ask Lisa if it's still open, and we're actually conducting interviews currently. And then, yeah, Lisa had noted she'll collect with Artie. Lisa, anything else to add on the W-2? Is that?
Yeah, if there's anyone on here that hasn't let me know, and I have sent the link to apply. Send a text to support and I can get you the link. If you did already submit the request to be thought of for this spot, I'm going through every candidate that's applied and setting up interviews. And so if you're already in there, you should expect a call. Doing it in chunks. We had a lot of people interested. And so just doing it in chunks to get through them. But yeah, just send me a message to be support if you need the link. And if you already have filled it out, I will touch base with you soon.
Yep. And I see Loretta's question about that being available outside of California, specifically in Michigan. So at this point, we're really piloting it in California. We don't have a timeline for going outside of that state. But obviously, if anything changes, we'll communicate that to everybody.
And then
Alicia, I saw one other one on
1099 and perfect.
Yep.
I was going to ask if you could answer that one.
So that smaller group of employees will get W-2s. But again, the majority of our folks are independent contractors. So you'll get a 1099. We're in the process of pulling those all together this week. So they will go out in the mail next week. You will also receive an email where you'll be able to opt into receiving it electronically. So just keep your eyes out for that electronic version. That'll obviously allow you to get it a bit faster. But then everyone will receive a mail copy of their 1099 as well.
And that mailed copy will be to the address that you gave us when you first applied. So if you have changed since you re-signed the independent contractor agreement, just text the Bee support line and we will update your address.
Unless you already have, I'll say that.
Okay, perfect.
Right. But if you didn't let us know that you've moved since then, you probably want to do so to make sure we get it to the right spot.
Absolutely. And we'll go, is it Nazim? Is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes. Good evening, everyone.
No.
I have a question. So, of course, I've done several assignments in a pretty short period of time. I'm in the process of getting certified for substituting, but I noticed in the app currently there are no assignments popping up as group leader. I just realized that did not do the suicide prevention piece. So, is that the reason why I'm not seeing any assignments?
Most likely, so within the app, and this is for everybody, the assignments that you will see by default are those that you meet the qualifications for. There's a little checkbox at the top that you can say show unqualified.
Unqualified.
And then for every additional assignment you see, you'll see the specific qualification that you're missing. But Zane, that sounds like Pennsylvania. If you did not complete the suicide prevention training, that would basically make everything seem unavailable. So if you need that link, you can text us and we'll send you the link to get that done. But as soon as you get that done and submit us a copy, we can get that reset up for you to bring back access to those assignments.
Yeah, I've actually been doing them today. So
Okay,
Awesome.
perfect.
you'll
Awesome.
have that tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah, fantastic. And just in general, if you see assignments that you think are close in reach, like some things in terms of qualifications might be you need a bachelor's degree, and that's not something we can just do overnight, if depending on the number of college credits. But some it's as simple as a training or a series of online certifications or things like that, that if that's all you need to unlock, see what the unqualified says that you're missing. And then if you're not sure what that entails, reach out to the team and we'll put you in contact with our clearance team to help you get to the finish line with that. Because we are all here about getting as many opportunities for you as possible.
Yeah, Alicia, I
Uh,
was going to say, because there's a lot of Michigan bees on the
Mm-hmm.
call. Our partners at Wayne Metro, a lot of their sites have site-specific requirements.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you ever see one that you're just not even sure what that means, like, what do you mean I need a Westwood specific clearance?
Mm-hmm.
The clearance team can help you understand. Typically, those aren't a heavy lift. It's filling out an additional form and sending it in. So definitely reach out. And one of the things that I'll brag on Alicia is helping to build out is the be what's it, Hive Knowledge, the Hive Knowledge section where we have all that repository of information, really building that out to make it easier for everyone to kind of self-service and understand how to get some of these additional clearances. But when in doubt,
yeah.
always reach out and we can help you understand what you need to do to get more availability for those assignments that are posted.
Well, thanks for your response. And just I did a multi-day assignment with Wayne Metro, and near the end of the school year, they began staffing their after-school programs, so they weren't requesting any bees anymore. And
Mm.
that's one thing that's happened as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen demand fluctuate. I think they've had another uptick after holiday break. But yeah, we see that. And that's part of what our sales team is. Again, maybe another team that's not very visible to you all is always talking to new partners and bringing on additional folks. So that way, again, we keep that assignment demand high for you all. And we're helping meet the needs of as many schools and after school partners and nonprofits as we can.
Again, thanks for your response.
Of course, thank you. And then, Demarius, I see a question that you typed in the chat. Are you able to unmute and share a little bit more to elaborate? Are there set hours required, or could you go
Yeah,
part-time?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering. Someone wanted to apply, um, but also, yeah, they were asking if you can go part time. Like, were you required to do 8 hours a day, 7 hours a day? You know what I mean? As where you can go, maybe 5 times. I said 5 times. I'm sorry, 5 hours a day. Or like, I told them you can go pick whichever day of the week you want to go, but they're mean like on that specific day. Are you required to do the 8 hours?
And are they also in the Cleveland area, Demarius?
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
Cleveland area.
Lisa, do you know, again, it's all dependent on what our partners' needs are. I think, and is it custodial or like instructional in the classroom? Demarius, what kind of roles?
Um, I, be- I believe it was instruction. I
Instructional.
believe it was
Okay. I think that's a
instructional.
great, if you have a referral, I would say it's always great to just let the support team know or hiring at brightbee.org goes directly to our recruitment team and they
Okay.
can work with someone and help them understand the kinds of assignments that we're seeing in the days and times. Because we have some hives where there's a lot of 4 or 5 hour day assignments and others where we see consistently, an 8 hour day is what they're looking for. But the
Okay.
recruitment team would love to talk to anybody you have to refer and help them understand what's available in their hive.
And you said what was the site? they had to go
It's
to?
hiring at brightbee.org. I can put
All
it in
right.
the Slack.
Yeah, I just put it in the
Okay.
chat.
Thank you, Alicia.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. And just because we're coming close on time, I will stick around after if anybody has any other personal questions. Shanita, I do want to address that summer is a little a ways away from us, and I think our schools don't even know what they need. They're trying to figure out what they need this month and next month. But we will have another town hall before summer starts, and usually the closer we get, the more we announce what to expect. And again, it's what we've heard. We think we're going to need custodians. We think we might have a summer school program. We might need paras. And then we don't always know that seasonality is something that as a 2-year-old company, we're learning alongside you. But I will say the more and more excitement and enthusiasm that you all portray on site is when the schools start going, I can't see myself running this program without reaching out to BrightBee. And so we hear it all the time where they're now building in their summer models, or, oh, I can ask for operations support, or someone can help unbox curriculum or refresh some computers. And so we really encourage them to reach out to us for help over the summer. And so we'll definitely have updates as it gets closer to June with that information. Awesome. And so just to close us today, I wanted to recap a little bit and share some of our most recent winners. And every month, for those of you that are new, we do a monthly buzz, and that's a video newsletter. You'll hear from me. You can just watch it or watch it on speed fast. You don't have to watch it fully 1% or 100% speed. And one of the things that we had recently was our bee survey, which 100 people filled out, as well as our Tenacious Bee photo contest. Thank you to all who participated, and just wanted to share the winners. From those photos, people took their Tenacious Bee logo around campuses and around their town. And congrats to Asma, who got her Rainbow Chefs after school students to participate. Christika, who had a fully bee themed holiday tree. And I think Narathani is here, who was outside of Travis Air Force Base, which those of you in the Bay Area, California would know that location being around the Hive. So congrats. Thank you for participating in that. Each of them have earned $50 honey, which you'll see on the next paycheck, as well as these bee survey winners as well. And so if you would like to participate in our monthly honey opportunities, it's just a chance to have fun, to engage, to try something new. You'll find out about those in the monthly buzz, which I send out the first week of every new month. The current challenge is related to exactly what Stevie shared today, shining bright on your profile. It's a chance for you to upload or refresh your photo, check that bio, update a resume. And if you've already done all those three, then say, I already did it, and you still get entry into the Honey Challenge. And other ways that we connect. This town hall is a quarterly event when you get to meet and ask questions with BrightBee leadership and hear updates. But we do meet once a month for our Hive Hangouts. They're usually on a Tuesday, and they are a drop-in session just to come together, ask questions, share strategies. Think about those things that you might not have someone at site to ask, like, what would you do if this child did this? Or I need some ideas for getting people to line up quickly to get out to lunch. And so it's just a chance to brainstorm and chat, and we have a lot of fun. I see some familiar faces that join us. Crystal, thanks for being here. John, thanks for being here. So that is our town hall. I'm going to be sending out this recording as well as some of the links we talked about tomorrow once we're back online. And I do encourage you to register for that Advisors Give Back tax webinars and check the assignments in your Hive. And if there are things where you're going, I'm not seeing the same amount of assignments, town hall might not be the best place for that because it's going to be specific to you, your qualifications, your Hive, but the bee support team is there. So text that number. Lisa, Brennan, Haley, Bethany are there to help encourage you and see what might be available that matches your availability. So thank you all for being here. If you have a specific question, feel free to stick around. If not, feel free to come off mute and say goodbye to the team. And we are happy to have you here this evening.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye. Have a good evening.
Bye. Thank
Bye. Have
you.
a good night.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Good night.